Hi guys, Hari here. Getting a late start as usual, so I'm just going to jump right in. This is solo matchmaking, banning pick game. The other team had first pick. They first picked Sandwraith, which we followed up with. I picked Witchslayer and Blue picked Hag. They followed with Bubbles and Glacius, which made it rather apparent that they were going to tri-lane, at which point I insisted that we should get Slither. And then our next support, we would last pick our carry. So one of the people grabbed Slither for me, and the other took Empath, which is, I guess, alright, because it's the other tri-lane support. Then they picked Deadwood and Voodoo Jester, which made sense. Voodoo Jester is their second support, and Deadwood laning middle. And then we last picked our carry, which was Kronos. We actually wanted him to pick Madman or Puppet, because we're going to have to tri-lane top, because they're obviously going to tri-lane top as well with Sandwraith to get him farm. Especially because Bubbles is kind of more of a long lane pick. And so we really need to be able to shut him down, prevent him from free farming all game. So we're going to send Slither bottom, because this way I can dominate Bubbles in lane. And top, we should be able to at least compete, prevent Sandwraith from free farming, and then we'll have Hag mid against Deadwood, which is reasonable because you can reasonably well dodge stuff. Anyway, onto my starting items. Definitely not what I would consider ideal. This is the first time I've ever played Slither. I've played Slither before in support context in dual lanes, but I don't have much experience tri-laning anyway. So never playing Slither in the solo tri-lane style. So yeah, 2 Duck Boots, 2 Minor Totems, and 2 regen. If I could do it differently, I would replace 1 Duck Boot and 1 Minor Totem with a Guardian Ring to get my Ring of the Teacher sooner. Still keep the regen, etc., and give me 1 more slot to finish my boots in. It would have just been more ideal. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, haste here. So I'm going to go pick this up and try to harass Bubbles a little bit. I could actually wait about 2 or 3 more seconds before grabbing this, but I just didn't want to be out there too long and exposed in the off chance that they were trying to laning bottom. But I think the odds are pretty good at this point, since I saw a couple people up top that Bubbles is going to be bottom. I don't remember exactly who I saw, so I'm just going to kind of wait here until I think he's in a position where I can go attack him. Here I'm kind of seeing that, yeah, and making a little note that our empath got the aura first, which is not something I really like at all. I really think that it would have been more ideal to get wall or drain first, so that he has more lane presence. The regen doesn't really help that much. But anyway, yeah, so now I'm just going to always try to keep Bubbles forced out of lane while farming as much as possible down here. This is kind of the setup I would have preferred. And hopefully our tri-lane can do alright top while Hag avoids getting killed mid. I will just, give a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. I would suggest paying attention to what Blue types when he types. He's a pretty entertaining person. Figure you'll probably find it worthwhile if you do. So just a little disclaimer, I guess. So yeah, here basically just farming, waiting for Bubbles to come back. I see he's back. Yeah, and there's still enough creeps that it's safe for me to dive him. I thought I grabbed Poison Spree, but I guess I didn't. I was actually trying to Poison Spray him there. You could see I kind of just like running, not doing anything, trying to hit him with Q, and it wasn't working. And then I discovered that it was because I hadn't skilled Poison Spray. I'm pretty sure I clicked on it, but I guess I just didn't click long enough or something. I don't really know. Bubbles is back, and there are creeps, so I'm going to force him back out of lane. While trying to still get last hits when I can. Yep, here he comes back up, so I can land the Poison Spray and harass him with auto attacks and toxicity a bit more until he teleports out, and then proceed back to farming. As far as like the team compositions go, yeah, as I was kind of saying before I got cut off about the rune, I really would have liked to have Madman or Puppet top, since we were having to tri-lane top. I think it would certainly have been preferable to have a more aggressive carry in the lane. Yeah, here Bubbles comes back up. He should definitely die. He had like 30 health left, and I had toxicity and poison spray on him, so I assume he's dying right about now. And he doesn't, which kind of throws me for a loop. Talked to him after the game. He said he just used tangos, and with the shell surf and everything, he went down to 2 health and didn't die. So kind of unfortunate, but what can you do? Sorry, again, I still have a bit of a cold. I'm probably gonna have to pause the game at some point. But yeah, so the Kronos pick, probably not the best thing ever. Not that Kronos is a terrible hero. It's just that, well, yeah, it would have been better to have an aggressive carry, basically. Someone who can do something like Puppet's fine because he has, can have a level 1 pretty effective disable, and Madman's good because even at low levels he can harass pretty effectively with stalk and get last hits, etc. Play aggressive. Like, he certainly has a lot more impact early on than Kronos does. But unfortunately we have Kronos, which I guess is still alright because Kronos can kind of compete with a Sandwraith-ish if they're both farmed, because Kronos is pretty strong late game carry. Yeah, anyway, here I'm finally going to pick up my Ring of the Teacher. I'm going to start to send it to myself with the Walking Courier because I really don't want to have to upgrade it. I think the support should, but now I kind of see that they're just getting destroyed top lane, which is kind of strange because Sandwraith isn't that strong early on, but you know, they are on their short lane, so I guess it makes it a bit easier. So I'm actually just going to upgrade the courier myself, also because it's not very safe to have the Walking Courier come all the way over here. Yeah, you'll have to excuse me for just 1 second here. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Having a cold sucks, etc. So anyway, as far as my build goes, I got Toxicity first for harassment in lane. Excuse me. And then a Poison Spray, just additionally for harassment, because between the two of those I can pretty much completely force them out of the lane. There, I kind of missed the last hit, and then I'm just going to max wards afterwards for pushing potential, which is why, again, I got the Ring of the Teacher, which I now have turned off, and I'll just turn on once I plan on pushing the tower. Just kind of, yeah, playing past the creep wave here, not letting bubbles even come back, although here I do for a second, but that's just because there were some last hits I really needed to get. Unfortunately, I have let him get level 3, which is kind of disappointing, but what can you do? Yeah, so it's kind of the situation here. I can't dive him right here because, yeah, there's that creep wave. Once they latch on to one of my creeps, then I can safely do that. So I'm just going to start harassing him with Poison Spray and Toxicity, and then once I'm done harassing him, go back, finish last hitting creeps, and regen up. Or fail last hitting creeps. Yeah, so I'm not going to get my ultimate until a little bit later on. I think I considered getting it maybe in a level, or I considered getting it level 8, but just decided I still didn't quite have the mana for it. Yeah, here Bubbles comes back up, and I'm willing to dive him actually because he came back at pretty low HP, and I have level 2 Toxicity now, so with that he should definitely die, even if he does take cover. Yep, and there he goes. Yeah, so right about now I should actually be turning on my ring and pushing this tower. Yeah, here's Blue's interesting conversation. I was talking to him about this and why, I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world to avoid getting grasped as Hag if we don't have a rune in the middle lane to give vision, but I still think it's not that impossible. But then his argument was, well, Deadwood came with haste, which is kind of interesting because I don't really see how a Hag should ever get out rune controlled by a Deadwood in mid, but I guess it happens. So that's unfortunate, but fortunately he came back and got the kill, so that's good, and our top got a kill, which is much better than them dying a bunch. Here, yeah, like I said, just pushing down the tower, turning on the ring and using wards, made sure to get the last hit it so Bubbles didn't deny it, which is all gravy. So now I have lots of money, and this tower's pushed down. It's kind of... There's kind of some bad to having pushed down the tower, which is that Bubbles can now have a lane to actually sit in and get experience and some gold, because I'm not really going to be pushing to the second tower. Yeah, and actually here, I see the Deadwood's missing at the 6-minute rune. I'm pretty sure we did have wards at the 6-minute rune, but again, Hag has just decided not to go for any runes, because the best way to play Hag is not to rune control, but just to sit in middle farming. So yeah, so that's why I had to back off there, which is kind of unfortunate. And yeah, planning on stacking and pulling here, just because I have nothing else to do in the meantime. The ring's back off, obviously. Let's see, what else is there to talk about right now? Not really a whole lot. Maxed out wards, again, just for pushing level 2 Toxicity. I'll probably end up getting my ult around the time that I would, disconnect around the time that I could get both levels of it. Sorry, a little distracted, just multiple things going on. I should work on that. Unfortunately, the creep camp did not stack here, because they warded it, and Bubbles had managed to ward it, actually. Meantime, I can talk about a couple things that we can see. So, I don't really know exactly what levels and abilities Empath has now, but at least he has Wall, which is important for being able to kill Sandwraith in the lane, so I can't complain too much about that. The Witch Slayer, on the other hand, interestingly enough, has 2 levels in Power Drain, and he actually didn't want to swap me Slither, so he actually would have been soloing bottom, which I really think would have been much worse, because I wouldn't really trust someone who puts 2 points in Power Drain by level 4 to take out my garbage. Anyways, we can see them diving our teammates here top, so fortunately I'm going to teleport up with this DP stone I bought, and yeah, kill him. Sandwraith has already used Desert's Curse, so it's going to be really difficult for him to get away, especially with my slow, so we should just be able to walk him down, take him out as well. Not really concerned with giving Kronos the kill here, just because Sandwraith is a pretty tough hero to kill and don't want to risk him getting away, so I'm just going to do whatever I can to make sure that he dies, which I'm fine with, getting the kill on Slither anyway. Yeah, I was planning on pushing here, but I know that Deadwood's coming up, so I decided to back off. Here I see Deadwood going after my teammate. I throw down wards, which actually is going to mean that I'm not going to be able to poison spray, which is kind of unfortunate. So maybe I shouldn't have thrown those wards down and should have used poison spray instead. But oh well, he received Voodoo Jester. And so now I should be able to fight him. He's only level 3, especially with our Kronos here, and which side turns around and uses stun, so that's good. And now I'm planning just to go back to base to get mana back again, but then decide, well, I should probably go pick up my Ring of Health, because I plan on building a Helm of the Black Legion next, just for some survivability. Yeah, unfortunately there's a lot of action going on top, so it looks like I won't be able to go back, to base. Yeah, so I'm actually going to go back up here. It's kind of too bad that I had left in the first place, because maybe we'd be able to get a kill that we weren't otherwise. Yeah, see, Bubbles is now level 6, which is really unfortunate. He's just kind of been sitting bottom to get level 6 as quickly as possible, all because I pushed that tower, so that kind of could have been bad. But at the same time, it's letting me help out and fight up here. I see Haste here. I'm going to leave it for Wretched Hag, but then I see Brown sitting up in the woods there. Yep, way out of position. So I figure I should be able to easily pick him up in time, and I have Poison Spray and Toxicity now, so I should be able to get him. Yeah, so I dive out here. Hit him with the Toxicity first and the Poison Spray. Of course, the Empath, for God knows why, decides to run directly next to me, which means the stun bounces as many times as humanly possible before I can do something, so yeah, that's fun. But we get the kill anyway because Blue blinks in. It turns